So, I got a new truck. Alright, settle down everybody, I've got a new truck. Yeah, I've got a new truck. I'm not, yeah. Hello. Hello. As you can see, it's a GC4 from Cross RC. I got this from Simon at Green's Models. Great guy. We can't speak highly enough about him and his shop. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Simon, for supplying this. It's my second kit, my second cross kit. That's just, yeah, never mind. That's just for Andrew, he's only got one. Sorry about that, mate. So the GC4, as you can see, is pretty much the GAZ 66, I think it is, the Russian truck, classic Russian truck. Painted up on the front here in the civilian version. Most of the ones you see are military, which is a bit of a thing. I'm curious as to what you think about this, actually. I was going to do it green, just camo green, because all the ones I see are army. But a friend of mine, and you probably know if you've watched more of my videos, good mates with Andrew and Terry at RC. And Terry really doesn't want me to paint this green. He told me to think outside the box, but literally outside the box is red. It's probably kind of orangey rather than red, but I quite like the idea of it bright red, just having seen this picture here. It would have to be quite rusted out though, just to explain why it was going around the hills. I don't want it to look like a restored old GC4 gas. Anyway, I don't know, what do you think? Sort of army green or some sort of civilian thing? Don't know. Can't quite make up my mind, even though I just keep telling Terry that it's definitely green, just to annoy him. So I'm going to unbox this, obviously, because it's in a box. So I'm going to take it out of the box, and it's going to be semi-interesting to some of you. It's quite a small box in comparison to, well, my only other truck, the HC6. But obviously it's just a 4-wheel drive, this one, rather than a 6x6 or 8x8, as Cross do some pretty awesome stuff. And I know Simon's got a load of new stuff coming in right now, and Cross have got some new kits coming out as well, so that'll be interesting to see when that turns up. Right, box away. It's right. There we go. First things first, this isn't included. I got the tarpaulin, what's the word for that? Option. The option tarpaulin with the metal hoops to hold it up. That's going to be cool. First thing in here, the manual. The manuals are quite good with Cross. Well, I've already done the one, obviously, but this one, the motor and gearbox, or the gearbox, didn't really match up perfectly because I think they've done some slightly different versions and it was a bit old. But it's okay, you can work it out, they're pretty clear. Generally, you get these stickers which I don't really think are all that good, but you get them. The pictures are pretty good, very clear, quite easy to follow. More interestingly, axles, and only 2 axles this time. These are already built, like they were with the HC6. This is the rear one, obviously, and it's got the nice metal casting again. It's got this really scale pumpkin cover, typically GAZ type thing, looks a bit like a TIE fighter window. It's just to really double the nerd count of this video. Star Wars reference. So yeah, they're all built, but I think I will take them apart and check the shimming. There's a little bit of play in there. I'll probably also put waterproof bearings in the back there to avoid them collapsing too quickly. There's the front one with a handy red dot on it, so you can tell it's the front, even though it's got steering mechanism on it. They really do think of everything, don't they? Amazing. There are tyres. There are tyres. 4, 5, 5 tyres. 5 tyres, they feel quite soft. I should probably open these.
Oh my god. Hey, here's that thing. Wow.
I think they ordered this bag for one of the 8x8s. So now I've de-rustled that. This one's clearly the spare. We've got a plastic wheel already inside that one. It's not a bad looking, yeah, same as the HC6 plastic B-lock. The others are normal, they've all got foams. These are quite soft. The stock tyres for the HC6, they were very hard sidewalls, didn't conform, didn't squish, and that could struggle a bit, but these are much more normal. Reasonably soft, bit squeaky. But anyway, the most important thing clearly is how they smell. Not bad. Not quite sort of oaky, good deep, sort of resonant. I'm getting notes of cinnamon and mud and rubber. Some beadlock rings in there. I really seriously hope these are easier to put together than the majority of cross wheels. They have a really bad reputation. Just not going together, being very difficult to get the tyres on with. They are metal, they're pretty good looking. Some massive chunky sort of wheel centres that go through them too, nice and metal. You can hear that, you can't see it, but you can hear it. Another thing that's built for you, I'll get this out of the bag. So another thing that's built for you is the gearbox. 2-speed gearbox again, just like that one. It looks very familiar, it looks the same except this fancy writing on the side, which is useful. I would have to open this up and have a look and see if there are plastic gears inside here or metal ones. That came with the metal upgrade. And it was so noisy, to be honest. Recently I've downgraded, upgraded, up, down, graded one of the gears, the gear that the pinion drives inside the gearbox, the motor's pinion, I changed to the plastic gear just to try and quieten it down because it made such a whine, it was unbelievable. I do like quiet trucks out there in the countryside, so and that's worked. I could make it quieter still if I put more of them in. I will in a moment open that up and see if it's plastic. Right now, talk amongst yourselves. They're black. I think they're metal. I'm gonna have to peer at this like an old man. Yeah, I think those gears are metal. Stand to be corrected, could be wrong. So there you go. Probably noisy, but very tough. Shall I move the box? Shall I undo my top? I'm too warm. But the continuity. Set the YouTube will go mad. They'll never forgive me. I'm all about the continuity. Let's have a look. In bag metal fittings. So we do have lights. We've got lights on little boards, like LEDs on little boards with a whole load of plugs already plugged in. That's what you do with plugs, isn't it? There is an extension wire as well, but it's Dean's. I use XT60 personally, but I'll swap those over. Also comes with its own little set of instructions, which will be very handy indeed. So that's the speaker for the sound kit. The sound kit goes in a little box on the side of the truck like this one here. You see it there? Maybe, possibly that one, or maybe on the other side, I'm not sure. I don't personally like sound kits particularly, so I will leave it. But anyway, it's in there if you do. Plenty of people do. So what we got there, we got some metal drive shafts that look very nice. And oh, I recognise those. These are motor mounts, metal motor mounts. I think a lot of the chassis is going to be a very similar design to this one, and probably some of the others. Leaf springs, my favourite, and 4 dampers as well. So you actually, it's good actually. You got some damping for the leaf springs that I just mentioned. I don't know why I can't think of these things, but I think these shocks are probably the same again as on the HC6, which is to say not very good and quite a strange design. They also have a spring in them and they don't hold oil. They do seem to trap air. So they're kind of like a, you can either have sort of a negative pressure trying to pull them together, or you can have a positive one trying to push them apart, and you can't just have it damping so that it slows down. So it's essentially a spring, which is odd. I will put them on, see how it goes. If I do want a less bouncy ride, because it's going to be a lot lighter than this thing, I will see if I can get some suitably lengthed actual dampers. Bag H, which is just bolts, nuts, washers. Bag G is all sorts of nice things. I can see the hooks for the bumper, for towing, tiny little hinges, the little metal catches for opening the rear bed, the tailgate, which you can't see in the picture I'm helpfully pointing at, some mesh and some metal checker plate. There aren't that many bags. This is bag plastic fittings, and as you can see, it's plastic fittings. Actually, this is familiar too. These are, some of these won't be used. I've got loads of these left over from this, which just didn't apply to this kit. So I don't know which ones will like these damper towers. I don't know if it needs them or not. It may do. There's all the balls. Once again, for the eyelets, you know, the link rod end balls, and there's a set of metal ones so you don't have to use the plastic ones, which is good. A couple of fuel tanks with the filler necks, which I've just lost one of those off there, which is a bit of a shame. Spare tyre, that's part of a spare tyre holding assembly, and some sort of box. Steering wheel. Details for the bed sides. From the look of it, they're going to run up at intervals along the bed side and form the bed. And there's some side steps probably in there. This isn't the main part of the bed. I will show you that. There's a whole separate bag. Cross members for the chassis, and those are like suspension mounts. Those are definitely suspension mounts on that anyway. Like I say, they might not be used. Some lenses for the lights, those big iconic round lights that I like so much. And the dashboards. Oh, look at that. Big engine cover type thing, which I think this will be the electronics box. So obviously bag plastic fittings isn't the actual bed, and it isn't the actual cab, because those are still in here. So let's have a look at the actual bed first, because it's the most complicated part of the whole kit. IKEA style flat pack of scary cheap cheese looking things. They only look like cheap cheese. They're actually really strong. You have to glue this all together with a special glue which actually melts the plastic. It's sort of like welding it. It's not really glue. It sort of melts the two together, and a bit of pressure, you know, if you get it right, it basically turns into one piece of plastic. It's strong. I'm surprised. I thought this would be quite vulnerable. It's taken some hits and scrapes from rocks and stones, I can tell you that. And it's fine. It's survived really well. It's a strong thing. I'm sure this will be the same. I can see here the mount for the speaker, and obviously the bed size. The floor of the bed is in the bottom there, and then you got the sides, and then even the tailgate. You build up all the 3D details glued on flat sheets. I was a bit intimidated by it the first time, thinking, am I going to do this right? Is it going to fall apart? But it's not too bad at all. It's simpler than you think. It's easier than you think. Just a few little clamps, bit of glue, be quick. Make sure it fits first, do it dry first, make sure you got the right bit the right way up. And it's all good. I'm sure if I look in the instructions, you start with the chassis. I think I'm going to start with this. And the body, basically all the bodywork, build it all, and probably then prime it. And then I'm going to build the chassis, because I do like building the chassis. I like metal and working with it, but you know, it's more familiar to me. I find it simpler. I don't think it'll take too long, so I think I'll get all of that ready, and then and these are the chassis rails, which you haven't seen yet, which look almost sweetly small and twee in comparison to that, and to, I mentioned that RC to the MC8 that they've got. That thing's like about 4 years long. My only hope this time is that the Cross RC logo is the correct way up when you put the truck together, because this one isn't. Maybe they knew how I would drive it. Then the only thing left in this teeny tiny box is the cab, which is of course one of the coolest parts. I'm sure I heard a collective gasp of excitement there. Oh my lord. What is it they say these days? Oh my days. Right. So just 3 big chunks. Again, it's quite similar in plan to this. This goes over the gearbox itself. In the real truck, obviously, there's the engine under there. It's quite a handy thing. This looks quite a bit bigger. Yep, way bigger. Just quite simple. I'll do the floors in matte black so you don't really see them, they don't really jump out at you. Then you got this awesome roof and the awesome cab, the big snub-nosed. It's ugly, but it works. I mean, it's so ugly and utilitarian that it's good looking, I think. I really like the look of these things. And it's going to look awesome. I've got all the time in the world to decide whether I do it green or bright red and super rusty. Terry thinks I should do it shiny as well. I don't want to do it shiny. Why would a shiny, nicely restored civilian truck like this be grinding around in the mud? Yeah, I don't think it would. So it needs to be army, maybe bright red. I don't know if that looks orange to you. Can you see that still? I don't know, I can't see. It looks quite red to me, but it would be red. And anyway, that is what's in the box that this is. So that's everything that's in the box of the GC4. There is a GC4M, by the way, which has the communications box on the back. Did think about that, but it's another £100. And I think, yeah, I didn't like it quite as much. So I got this one with the canopy, which I think is going to look awesome. And then I'll have 2 cross trucks, and Terry will have 2 cross trucks, and Andrew will only have 1 cross truck, which is, I don't know, it's kind of, do I feel bad for him? No. Do I feel sort of embarrassed? No. It's really quite funny. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again, maybe, if you ever talk to me again, in Andrew's case.